All right, you guys are ready? Let's continue with game number 4 in today's live stream, and this is board 3 in the 45 Lichess League, season number 13, game of the season, board 3. I hope I'm correct with that one. And let's begin the game between Avasgoritze and Dinomumu. All right, c4, knight of 6. We have the English opening. And e4 here, c5, good move. Immediately going after this weak square on d4, d3, knight c6, bishop e3, d6, knight g2, rook b8, a3, knight to g4. And here there's a mistake here, castle. You don't want to give up this bishop. This is your important bishop. It's the guardian, you could say, of the dark squares. If you give it up, you will be very much exposed on the dark squares, especially considering that already there are a lot of pawns on the light squares and the dark squares have already been weakened. I think I know what was going through your mind. You thought, okay, after I take back with the pawn e3, I have a stronger center, I can play d4. That's true, but still you're going to miss your dark square bishop very dearly, so don't give it up here. Just play back to c1, for example. You can push the knight back and then you can develop the bishop back to e3, and no harm has been done. In general, if the position is not fixed yet, that is the pawn structure, and it can still go in all kinds of directions. That means it can still open up completely or be half open or be closed. You still want to keep your bishop, because if it opens up, you want to have that bishop, because bishops in general are very strong in open positions, because this is where these long range pieces become the most effective. After castle, knight takes e3, f takes e3, black went a6, which is a good move, preparing b5. And here probably should just stop b5 by going a4 yourself. But yeah, it's putting another weakness in your position, obviously, but what can you do? The problem is after d4, here already, black went b5, which is a good move. Black has many ways to get a good advantage here. But black could have also gone after the dark squares, just to illustrate. Yes, you have the center here, but black is playing on the dark squares and putting a lot of pressure on this guy on d4. And this is already a big problem. How are you going to defend this pawn? It does not seem to be possible. If knight d5, black could take on b2, black could take on d4, maybe not on d4, but just take on b2. And yeah, this doesn't look good. This was one way for black to play. Also another way to put pressure on the dark squares, bishop g4. And again, you don't want to go d5, you don't want to take on c5, because it would irreversibly weaken the square on e5 and give it to the black pieces. So yeah, trouble for white here. And it all originates with giving up the bishop on e3, allowing this exchange, the double pawns. And also it also weakens your king. Your king is a little bit more open now, as you can see. So yeah, I think I said enough, emphasized it enough that this exchange was not to your benefit here, Avasgoritze. b5, e5, interesting. Yeah, okay. I think it's good you're trying to mix it up, even though objectively maybe something else was better, but it is position already, it's very tough. Takes, and then really this is the move for me of this game for sure. D takes e5, maybe even of the season. Very nice move, sacrificing the piece here. Bishop takes c6, e takes d4. And yeah, black is just beautiful center pawns. The bishops are supporting the pawns and black's winning here. Knight d5. Best was to play c takes b5, but with all these moves, I have to say, in either case, black's still winning. It's just not as winning, you could say, but black's also winning still in this position for sure with his bishops and currently also being up a pawn. So yeah, this is not really giving more hope either. Knight d5. e6. This is actually in an inaccuracy here, and also the moves later, which are to come. Just b takes c4 was simple and strong, opening up the b file, and e6 doesn't run away. You can still play e6 next move, no rush. And these pawns here in the center, also some ideas with queen b6 and d3. It's just too much for white to handle, cannot keep it together. If knight takes d4, e6 just wins back material, and this is a monster on g7, obviously completely winning for black. So e6, knight to b4, yeah, again c takes b5 was the best shot for white. E takes d5, a4, at least to keep that bishop on c6 installed, even though, again, black is also doing very well here as well, with the king weakened, black being up a pawn. Yeah, what can I say, it is not looking good for white, but you still have to put up the most resistance that you can. Knight b4, and once again b takes c4 would be the strongest move in this position. For example, now bishop f3, bishop to d7, and these pawns, I mean, black already has 3 pawns for the piece, but those are not just any pawns, right? These are center pawns, very powerful, and the half open b file. This is why black has such an advantage here. Queen to b6, knight f4, a5, just a sample line here. Okay, it all falls apart already. If knight c2 here, then there's d3 check. Yeah, it's just the knights don't have any outposts, no place to go, so it's just lost. Okay, so a5, again c takes b5 is a little bit better, but okay, I'm repeating myself here. Doesn't change the evaluation of the position, still winning for black. D3 here, opening up this bishop, but at least, you know, you could somewhat argue, okay, maybe something can happen here later on, but okay, it's not that realistic either. Still, that was the best you could do. Knight c2, now d3, again b takes c4. I know, at this point, yeah, again b takes c4, because after knight takes d4 you can go e5, and I don't know what happened. The knight f3 and queen b6 check, picking up the bishop and having 2 extra pawns plus the bishop pair completely over. So d3. So maybe you were rushing a little bit here to get your minus piece back. I could see that happening, as it happens pretty often. We like to not be material down, get our material back. So sometimes it's better to be patient a little bit and then get even more returns later on. C takes b5, queen b6, king to h1, d takes e2, queen takes e2. Now you pick up this pawn, possible of course, still winning. I would just say it's not a priority right now to take this pawn. I would like to get rid of this guy on c6, pretty strong on c6, so just bishop b7 first, and you can still take this guy later on b2. Queen f3, for example, now queen takes b5, a tactic you also employ in the game, I believe, or something similar. Bishop takes f3, rook takes b5, and you see this guy's not running away. You can still take it later on. Up a pawn already with another one to fall sooner or later. Just game over. Bishop takes b2, rook b1, bishop a6. Okay, just playing it fancy a little bit. But I think that you missed knight b4. Maybe you missed, maybe not. But this would have been the best chance for white here to play this move. A takes b4, queen takes b2, bishop takes b5, takes. And how do they say? The fog has cleared after a lot of exchanges. Black's still up a pawn, still winning because the king is too unsafe here. But it seems it's a little bit less winning than it was before, if you know what I mean. So maybe not necessary to go here. even though, yeah, this is also pretty winning still. But we want to look out for these moves. Here, probably wouldn't have made a difference to overlook a move like knight b4, but in a different position it might. So we want to pay attention even if we're winning to these hidden resources. Rook takes b2. Queen takes c6, this was the idea. Takes, now we get into the endgame. Rook f2, you're up a pawn. And here you go bishop d5. With this move, I think you're still winning. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over, but once again, you're making itself harder. And why make it hard if you can also have it easy? One easy way to do it would be to first play e5. And yeah, what to do? c7, rook c8. Now, as opposed to with the bishop d5, there's no knight b5. White will lose this pawn, knight f3, and now just bishop d5. Pinning this guy. Simple chess, right? Exchange the knight, up 2 pawns, 2 connected pawns in the rook endgame, and white can resign. There's absolutely no hope here. So this was one way to do it. Another way would be to play rook b1 check, play bishop d5, put the rook behind, also complete control here, game over. With bishop d5, you're just putting extra work on you, and this was not necessary. Now the problem is after e5, actually you'll be in trouble here because white is able to play like this. And trying to see right now, yeah, bishop c6 is rook d2. So yeah, this is the problem, why this was the wrong move order, you could say. And you played rook b1, but now this endgame is not that trivial. Yes, probably it's winning, I'm very sure it's winning, but you still have to work, right? And rather, obviously, humans are lazy, or in chess, it's nice to not have to work the full game if you can have it simpler earlier on. All right, so let's see how this continues. c7, bishop b7, knight c6. White still has some tricks up his sleeve, picks up this pawn, but will lose the pawn on c7. King advances. So black still up a pawn, but the bishop is very strong in these kind of positions, playing on both sides of the board, containing this pawn and also supporting these guys on the king side. So I think this position must be winning. But still, like I said, you need to still work. In the other position, if you just pick up the c6 pawn, you're 2 pawns up in the rook endgame, it's over. There's nothing to worry about anymore. Here, especially with the knights, still have to be careful. Okay, king to d4. a4, f6, yeah, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with just pushing these pawns, but you take it slow, that's also possible, of course. e5, king e3, again, just f5 would be fine. Okay, now f5, check, a5. Okay, we're going through this pretty quickly. Yeah, knight a8 is the wrong direction here, but okay, position's lost anyway. I mean, in a lost position, really doesn't matter that much what you do. The only thing that matters is that you try to make it as difficult as possible for your opponent. Probably you could argue knight a4 would be a better try, but really in this position probably just doesn't make that much of a difference. King f2. Here king d6 would have made your life a little bit easier because the knight cannot come back to d5. So king d6, e4, e3, f3, and so on. Will soon end the game, pretty much. Oh, I guess the point is, yeah, I mean the pawns will just run through. That's the point, more or less. Okay, king d7, g4, h4. So bum 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 bum. Picking up another pawn. Yeah, this really baffled me now. I'm guessing both players were on increment, but yeah, it is fairly obvious that f3 just ends the game right here, because f2 is coming next move and that's it. So yeah, I don't know. This would have ended the game. e2 is wrong because it puts the pawn in the same color of the bishop, and now the pawns cannot advance by themselves anymore because the king is just controlling the f2 square. So this has suddenly made it much harder again for black. Yeah. Okay, let's see how the game continues. Knight f7, king b4, knight g5, king c3. And I think actually that here, which is, you could say a miracle, white could actually achieve a draw. Especially a miracle considering how this whole game went. By going knight f3. White goes knight e6, but then position is beyond repair. Knight f3, and because the pawns are blocked in this manner, it's tough for black to make progress. If the pawn was still on e3, easy win. But with the pawn on e2, you don't want to put the pawns on the same color of your bishop, because then it's easier for your opponent to block the pawns in that manner. Knight g1, king d3, knight takes e2, king e3, and the king can come over here. Black has still some chances, but it seems that, excuse me, it's the wrong line. Here g5 is the better move. It seems that even though black can win this pawn, then white improves his king position, and seems that white is having a blockade here. So yeah, that would have been a miraculous save, but probably also in time trouble. White missed his chance by knight e6, but now f3 and f2 wins the game, because sooner or later white will be in a deadly Zugzwang. So here's the first Zugzwang. h6, king d2, g6, and now, yeah, here just knight bishop e4 back would put white in Zugzwang. Black played it this way, which doesn't matter. Eventually the bishop ends up on e4 and white is in Zugzwang and is losing and resigned here. Yeah, this could have been easier, right? This could have been much quicker and less sweat, less effort, less drama, you could also say, with the drama in the end still, where white probably could have saved the game. So yeah, if you're winning, try to make it clean, I guess, and don't give your opponent any chance, and don't try to end the game as quickly as possible in a way if you can. I mean, okay, this I have to restate it, because end the game as quickly as possible, it sounds like you have to do something special. Let's put it like this: go the route where you are completely sure you're going to win. I mean, it's just no effort anymore. Even if in the rook endgame that we saw with black being 2 pawns up, white can still play a number of moves, but you don't have to put any effort anymore. I guess this is what I'm trying to say. Go for the route, go for the path where you have the least effort of converting, right? This endgame was still a little bit more effort, because the knight, you know, it's tricky, the passed pawn, you have to watch out, and so on and so forth. So keep being concentrated in these endgames or in these winning positions. All right, let me check the chat if there are any questions.